Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman. I am doing a recording from my office space, and it's from my actual desktop. So I'm not using my fancy camera. I am just sitting here. After I do this, I'll be going to work doing readings. But I wanted to take some time to do this video, not only for my YouTube channel, but also for my Patreon. For a lot of you out there that are interested, in learning more, there's a lot of content, a lot of psychic and mediumship courses that I have taught that are on Patreon for $1.99 per month. So you can go and check that out. But today I'm going to be talking about famous historical angel visions. I feel like this is a topic that a lot of people have asked me to talk about. How do angels appear to you? How can they appear? Have people seen them? I have seen angels in my lifetime. I've been touched by an angel before. The best way I can describe it, and I think I've spoken about this before, I spoke about it in my book, Starseed Footsteps, if you haven't picked up a copy of that. But I did get touched by an angel back in 2014 when I was actually very, very sick. And I had a near-death experience. Quite after that, I was seeking some kind of answers as to why I was feeling the way that I was feeling, and I actually got touched by an angel coming out of a Walmart, of all places. I was very sick going in shopping, and I was coming out. Now, it's funny because it wasn't a Walmart where I had my heart attack, but it was a different Walmart. And then coming out of a Walmart, out of another Walmart, like months later, is when I actually had the experience. And I recall it very, very strongly. I was holding on to the cart, and I was walking outside of Walmart, and when I was getting out, I felt this warmth from the inside of my chest radiate out. It was a warmth that I've never felt before. I knew it was an angelic force because it didn't feel like any sensation that I have ever had. It wasn't like heartburn. I can't describe it. It wasn't like heartburn. It was like a very pleasant, warming sensation from the inside, and then it radiated out throughout my whole body, and then it went away, just like that, just like it went away. And I was like, oh my God, how can this be an angel that has, touched me? In Spirit spoke at that time because my gifts were already, like, on steroids. After my near-death experience, all of my psychic gifts were very strong, my mediumship gifts, and the Spirit spoke, and they said, that was an angel that had touched you. And so after that, then there was another experience that I had months later. I was sitting in my home, and all of a sudden I saw this bright golden light, brighter than the sun, kind of like illuminate a certain area of the wall, and I remember seeing that light. So it is very, very I've had a lot of experience. I've also seen like little blue lights floating, and that is your angels. They can appear in different forms however they want to you. And I think a lot of people think that they have to appear like you see them as with wings. And even though artists have illustrated them like that, let me put some chapstick on because my lips are very, very dry. Hope you don't mind. I use Burt's Bees. And that's a problem when you have big lips. You start suffering from chapped lips for the weather. But, going back to what I was saying, you can see angels can appear to you any way they want. They can also appear just as energy. They don't have to appear like a person. Although some angels do come in the form of humans, and you would not know, and then you just encounter them, and they go away. So I picked up this little book, and I'm going to be doing videos based on it, on little things that I take out. This is a book that it's called the Angel Bible. If you haven't picked this up, it would be a good time to kind of look into doing that so we can both study it together. And it is by Hazel Raven. I really, really enjoy this book. It covers everything from angel visions to meditations to working with the colors, and it goes into the hierarchies of angels. It introduces you to angels, then it goes into angel healing, and that's what I'm going to be covering, different topics. and etc. But I'm going to go and start talking today about famous historical angel visions. These are historical figures, whether they are biblical or not, that have actually documented their account of actually seeing angels. And so it's going to be very, very good to kind of know. So I'm going to start with Daniel. If you go to the, I guess, your Bible, if you have a Bible, and for those of you that are thinking, oh my God, he's going into religion. I'm not. I'm very spiritual, but I'm just, this book covers certain historical figures, and it's hard to not reference figures that are in the Bible. So, Daniel says, as I looked, thrones were set in place, and the Ancient Days took his seat. His clothing was as white as snow. The hair of his head was white like wool. His throne was flaming with fire, and its wheels were all ablaze. A river of fire was flowing, coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands attended him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. And so this is an account of the 12th century illustration of Daniel's vision of the four beasts and God enthroned, from a commentary by Asturian monk Vetus. And then we have Enoch, and it says, and I looked and saw therein a lofty throne. Its appearance was a crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining sun. And there was a vision of the cherubim. And from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. And the great glory sat thereon, and his raiment shone more brightly than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. None of the angels could enter and behold his face by the reason of the magnificence and glory, and no flesh could behold him. The flaming fire was round about him, and a great fire stood before him, and none could draw him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. And that's in Enoch, in the book of Enoch. So, as you can see, there are historical figures that have actually seen him, that have seen angels, and it's been, through historic times. The Egyptians also saw them. I'm going to get into a couple of other accounts of visions. Ezekiel, the chariot throne of God, the Hebrew Merkavah, was first described in Ezekiel and was written shortly after the first Jewish exiles arrived in Babylon in 587 BCE. So the fire that looked like four living creatures, its appearance, their form was like that of a man, but each of them had four faces and four wings. Their legs were straight, their feet were those like a calf, and gleamed like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their four sides, they had hands of a man. All four of them had faces and wings, and their wings touched one another. Each one went straight ahead, and they did not turn as they moved. Their faces looked like this. Each of the four had a face of a man, and on the right side of each face a lion, and on the left of the face an ox. Each also had the face of an eagle. Each were their faces. Such were their faces. Their wings were spread out upwards. And so, I'm not going to read all of this, but this is in Ezekiel 1, verses 5 through 14. So, I guess, people have, in history, have also seen angels having, different faces. The one thing that's very interesting that was revealed to me from Spirit, and I've seen it before, when we talk about earth angels, and I believe this is also for angels as well, people have typically seen the wings back here on the back, and that's the way they've been depicted. I know this is going to sound far out and crazy for those of you that are actually tuning into this video, but I have actually seen visions of angels with wings coming out of their head, from right here, wings coming out of their head. So, as opposed to, I'm not saying that angels don't have wings back here, because again, that goes with traditional depictions and illustrations, but I actually feel like a lot of angels actually have wings coming out from here. And when you are talking about earth angels and people that are here on earth as angels, human souls that have angelic souls as well, or an angelic composition to them, we're talking about I'm talking about that. A lot of times when I look at people and I look and see their spirit, I can actually see the wings coming out of their head. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like wings coming out of their head. But it's not like coming out. It's like just there, floating on either side. Clear my throat. So that is one of the accounts. Joan of Arc. Let's talk about Joan of Arc. The Joan of Arc this was before around 1412 to 1431. Was 12 years old, and she began to hear heavenly voices inspiring her to save France. One of these voices belonged to Archangel Michael. Joan was reluctant to speak of her voices. She said nothing about them to her confessor, and at her trial constantly refused to be inveigled into description of the appearance of the saints. And to explain how she recognized them. Nonetheless, she told her judges, I saw them with these very eyes as well as I see you. Sorry, so the video actually cut off. But as I said, nonetheless, she told her judges that she saw them with these very eyes as well as I see you. And this is the account of Joan of Arc. Then William Blake in 1757 through 1827 was a British poet, painter, visionary mystic, and engraver who illustrated and printed his own books. And Blake has recorded that from his early years he experienced visions of angels and saw and conversed with the angel Gabriel. His prophetic books are the Book of Thel, the Marriage of Heaven and Hell, the Book of Urizen, and then America, Milton, and Jerusalem. In these prophetic books, Blake expressed his lifelong concern with the struggle of the soul to free its natural energies from reason and organized religion. Among Blake's later artistic works and drawings and engravings were Dante's Divine Comedy. And then then there was I don't know this Pierre or Jean Lamy. In the saintly priest was alive between 1853 and 1931 and had many visions of angels. He conversed regularly with his guardian angel and had visions of the past and future. Now, he says that the garments are white, but with the unearthly whiteness. I cannot describe it because it cannot be compared to earthly whiteness. It is much softer to the eye. These bright angels are enveloped in a light so different than ours that that by comparison, everything else seems dark. When you see a band of 50, you are lost in amazement. They seem clothed with golden plates. Remember, I said I had seen one I've seen one before. I think it was like Archangel Michael, but it was in gold, a very gold light. They seem clothed with golden plates, constantly moving like so many suns. Exactly. And I feel like it was even brighter than the sun, even though we can't really like look for long periods of time at the sun. It's just crazy because I know that a lot of people are like, how can you communicate with your guardian angels? You just talk to them. Talk to Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Raphael, Uriel. Just like you would any person that is living, standing in front of you. You can talk to them in the silence of your space out loud. Archangel Michael, if you can hear me, can you please give me a sign? Can you show me? Can you heal me? Can you do this? Asking the angels. It's kind of like invoking the angels, so to speak. Because the thing that is, I think we have been conditioned to believe that angels, we have to speak in a certain language or speak Latin in order to communicate with them. But really and truly, it doesn't take any kind of ritual to open those lines of communication. As long as you are open and you believe with your faith that angels do exist, just as we believe that God exists, Source exists, Mother Gaia exists, that's the same thing that, you want to establish that frequency and raise your vibration. And elevate your vibration so that you can communicate with angels, because angels are a higher realm, a higher vibration, and we as man are in a lower vibration. So we have to raise our vibration up to meet them in the middle. And when we do that, then we can have those conversations where a lot of times you think that it's your spirit guides talking to you, and it's actually your angels. And the way that you can kind of identify angels talking to you versus your spirit guides is that angels are not going to give you necessarily a lot more information like your spirit guides are going to give you, but they are going to protect you and give you nudges, kind of like spirit guides do. And in moments where you are in trouble, and or you could have died in an accident, or things like that, and you didn't, it's your guardian angels that are there to protect you. Because think about it, that's what their whole role is, as a guardian, like a protector of the innocents, a protector of you guys out there. So I'm not going to go into all of it, but children can often see angels and describe them in great detail. And so, you just have to kind of like work with your angels. There's so much in here. I'm not going to cover all of it, but it is a great book, the Angel Bible, and I wanted to talk about angels today. Hopefully, a lot of you that are listening will take something away from this video and feel a little bit more connected to spirit, especially during these trying times that we're in right now with the coronavirus and our economy, etc. Pray to your angels. They are there for you. Light a candle. Focus on the flame. And as you're focusing on the flame, ask your angels to come forth, to give you some kind of sign, to give you downloads of information that you need from the universe, because they are there and they do love you. They do love all of us. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And go ahead and subscribe by hitting on the right hand side, the red subscribe button, as well as the notification bell icon. Blessings and love and light, my rays of light. Until next time. Bye.